Okay, so this is primarily a response video to inner integration, actually. I tried to talk to JBL. I'm not going to talk about her. I'm trying to respond to inner integration. And her video about why it's not good to see the good in abusers, and it's true. Now, people, one of the top comments was, and while I'm doing this, I'm going to be working on my iDubbbz as well, because I found some chalks, which is really nice, and I found some pencils, which is really cool. So I'm just going to colour in some pencils, because it's kind of helping me, and I can do that as well. So basically I've got 10 minutes, and I know that people want to project onto me that I'm the narcissist and this, that and the other, and that there's no excuse, and that mental health isn't an excuse, and that it's purposefully done, like it's kind of an orchestrated thing, like I plan, like, and if you've actually seen me do the picture, I just freestyle. I didn't plan this. I mean, I've kind of vaguely kind of got an idea of what I'm doing, vaguely planning what I'm doing. But other than that, I'm just kind of freestyling, really. I'm not really sticking to any particular anything. So the idea that mental health issues are somehow not an excuse. Nothing is an excuse for abuse. Nothing. I've abused people because of my mental health, and it's that fog of in your head when it's happening. It's almost as if you're outside of your body and you can see yourself kind of being like this kind of out of control thing, and it's scary. It's scary because you end up hurting somebody that you really love. But I primarily wanted to kind of say one of my abusers was my neighbour, and my neighbour, when we first started kind of like interacting, it was just friendship, and it's that remained friendship. It never got further than that. But the thing about it is he was very kind of like love bombing. It was very kind of, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna look after you. I look after my friends. I look after my friends. Blah, 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 blah. His latent kind of homophobia came out, and his latent bigotry came out about trying to fuck people straight and things like this. This is a typical narcissistic trait. Anyway, I had a dream, and the dream I wanted this is the reply to inner integration. I had a dream, and in the dream, this beautiful dove of white peace came down. It was like a peacock. It was amazing, beautiful, and I think that just kind of represented my kind of hopes, my desires to want to make peace with this guy who had started to develop like this kind of very comfortable homophobia about fucking gay people straight, especially his son. And it just triggered me, and this dream was this dove of peace coming down, and it kind of came to the guy. When in my dream it came to the guy, and in the dream he ended up taking this dove of peace, ripping its wings off, stuffing it in a pot, and boiling it alive. And I kind of woke out of the dream like, and I drew that actual thing on my wall that night. And it's just this kind of, you can't see it, it's wings. These kind of wings, kind of coming up here, and this eye, and in the dream I clutched this bird that had been boiled in this pot alive. No water, nothing, just an empty pot, hot water. No hot water, just steel, and just left to boil, and its feathers were all blackened, and it's just this one eye looking at me, and then I kind of drew this one eye, and as I picked it up, this knife came out and it just sort of cut me. And I drew the side there as well, and I just thought, that's what happens when you see the good in people. When you see the good in people, you project all of your goodness, and it twists and turns, and it will come back. do you spend your whole life projecting that the narcissist or the narcissists in your life and the flying monkeys in your life are doing these kinds of things? And is there hope for them? And in some cases, yes. It's never good to shut the door. It's never good to... I know it's so comfortable to want to build a wall. To want to build a wall and just shut everything out. And what you do is just you end up putting yourself in a kettle. Putting yourself in that position where you're being boiled alive by your own hatred. And when you come to face yourself again, you're ending up wounding yourself, really. And this is exactly what they want. You know, they want you to self-destruct. This is what narcissists thrive on. And, you know, I think that when you have this kind of situation where you're under attack, and he was constantly every day, if it wasn't circling rumours around the other neighbours, because again I kept myself to myself, I was trying to go no contact, but how can you really go no contact with a neighbour who's with you every day? And it's soul destroying. And eventually it just wore me down. And you know, I had another breakdown. That's exactly what they wanted, because then I kind of came out of my body again, and this kind of you know, this kind of like autopilot sort of kicked in, and it started to be abusive, and that's all they needed to just kind of like go, bang, got ya. See, you're really evil underneath. Yeah, you put me in that, you pushed me to the point. And it's returning to that idea that there's this kind of thing with the super empath, where they explode, and this is exactly what they wanted all along. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter how well you play the game. If you're playing their game, you're gonna lose. And I've said this so many times. So for all of her advice, and for all of her kind of like bolstering, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, she's right. And yet at the same time, it's how do you maintain to keep an open heart without being hurt? Because when you open your heart to people who are evil, who are genuinely fucking evil, who have no sympathy or empathy or remorse for anything that they do, who have no feelings to feel that they're sorry for what they've done, yeah? How do you keep an open heart? And how do you stop this kind of fool's heart from always constantly believing, reaching out and seeing the good in people? You can't. Unfortunately, that top comment about the mental health illness, it really triggered me. Oh, it's purposeful. I'm sorry. If you're suffering from mental health issues, nothing is purposeful in them. Nobody wants to get ill. And how dare you suggest that people with mental health issues are somehow shrewdly going around with this fixed plan of trying to trigger you. It may even seem like that. But it's not. Anyone with mental health issues doesn't want them. I don't want them. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants to get ill. Nobody wants to be ill. Especially when it's people like you, top commenter of that fucking video. Yeah? You triggered me. As far as I'm concerned, you're the narc in that situation, because, again, foolishly just putting my emotion out there and letting myself get cut down to the quick by somebody's words on a fucking message board. So, yeah, I mean, it's a kind of thank you to Inner Integration for trying, you know, but at the same time, you're not integrating innerly if you're rejecting love. Yeah? It's a failure. So, you know, I know you won't hear that, but it's okay. So, I just wanted to respond to that, to be honest, because I'm trying to lie in bed at night, and I kind of